a pretty nice series of voicings that you can use for a 2-5-1 progression is the following, and this will really kind of add a lot of sophistication to your chord vocabulary. We just go for the 2 minor chord. We're going to play these notes. Then the 5 dominant chord. We're going to play these notes. Then the 1 chord, playing these notes. So for the 2 chord, we have the flat third, the flat 7, the 9, and the 11. For the 1 chord, we have the flat 7, the 3rd, the 13th, and the flat 9. And then the 1 chord, we have the 3rd, the 6th, the 9, and the 5. And these are all rootless voicings, which means that the root of the chord is not in any of these voicings that we're using. So I'm just going to put the root in the bass just so you can hear it. So then. And make sure you want to practice this on every string set too. So in this range, we're using the top 4 strings, but we could also use the middle 4 strings. Use the bottom 4 strings. And so practice on every string set, so the top 4, the middle 4, and the bottom 4 strings. And this is a good progression to practice as well, in such a way where we can kind of go through all 12 keys. We can go through the circle of fifths to kind of really ingrain it into our fingers, into our ears. And this is where knowing how to play it on different string sets can really help too. That way, so we start in C. Then when F comes up, if we only know how to play it on the top 4 strings, you might be tempted to move up so we can play it here. But, we want to be able to stay like in the same kind of general register when we want to. So if we were going from C, if we want to go to F, we could just use the middle 4 strings to stay in this bottom register. Now B flat. Now E flat, we could use the bottom 4 strings over here. Then A flat. D flat. G flat. B. Now key of E, we could use the open strings as well. Then key of A, we can use open strings as well. So it's key of A. Then key of D, we use the bottom 4 strings. That's key of D, then key of G, middle 4. Back to C. And then we could do the same thing if we want to kind of stay in the middle range of the fretboard. We could start with the middle 4 on C. So now F. Now B flat. and so on so forth. You get the idea. So you just go through all 12 keys and try to stay in that general register that you're starting off in. And you could do the upper register too. So if we're starting off in C, that'd be the bottom 4 strings. So then the key of F. Then B flat. Then E flat. So on and so forth. So this is a good exercise, honestly, with any series of voicings. Practice on all string sets and run through the circle of fifths and challenge yourself to try to stay like in a certain range on the instrument, and you'll find that this will really like help you kind of ingrain this progression of voicings into your chord vocabulary, so it almost just becomes second nature. You just kind of place your hand on the fretboard when you hear it, and you can just play it. You don't have to worry about like which fret do you have to go to, or hand positioning or anything like that. So yeah, and I'll probably talk about other examples of voicings or chord progressions you could do this with as well. We could also extend this exercise so it kind of like this was like a 2-5-1, but we could continue kind of working those chords. They go through like a full kind of like diatonic chord progression. So I'll probably talk about that in another video as well. But in the meantime, this is a great exercise to practice if you really want to improve kind of your jazz style chord playing and chord vocabulary.